Marcus Cole's eyes snapped open to white light and the sharp scent of something sweet and chemical. His head pounded. His wrists burned. When he tried to move, metal restraints bit into his skin. Voices surrounded him. High-pitched, melodic, overlapping. Not English. Not any language he knew. He forced his eyes to focus. The room was circular, walls smooth and luminous. And everywhere, everywhere, were women. No, not women. Clothes, but wrong. Their skin shimmered with faint iridescence. Their eyes were too large, pupils vertical like a cat's. Some had ridged foreheads. Others had delicate scales along their jawlines. They were arguing, gesturing at him. One reached toward his face, and he flinched. The door exploded inward. Silence crashed down like a hammer. A figure stood in the doorway, backlit and immense. Not in size, in presence. She was taller than the others, her skin a deep bronze that seemed to absorb light. Her hair moved on its own, floating tendrils that glowed faintly at the tips. She wore armor that looked grown rather than forged, organic curves reinforced with crystalline plating. Behind her, for guards in sleek black suits stood motionless, hands resting on weapons Marcus couldn't identify. The woman's gaze swept the room. The aliens, because that's what they were, Marcus's brain finally supplied, stepped back. Some lowered their heads. Others pressed hands to their chests in what looked like salute. When her eyes found Marcus, they narrowed. She spoke. Her voice was low, resonant, and carried absolute command. The language was alien, but somehow Marcus understood the tone. What happened here? The aliens erupted into explanation. Voices overlapped, hands gestured frantically. One pointed at Marcus, another at a device on the wall, a third at the restraints. The tall woman raised one hand. Instant silence. She walked toward Marcus with measured steps. The crowd parted like water. Up close, he could see her features clearly. Sharp cheekbones, full lips, eyes that shifted between gold and amber. Beautiful, in a way that made his chest tight with something between fear and awe. She studied him for a long moment. Then she spoke again, and this time a device on her collar flickered. Words emerged in accented but clear English. "You are human." "Yes," Marcus managed. His throat was raw. "How did you arrive on this station?" "I don't know. I was on a survey ship. We detected a signal. And then—" He tried to remember. Lights. Pain. Voices screaming. "I don't know." Her expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. She turned to the crowd and spoke rapidly. Several aliens responded, their voices defensive. One of the guards stepped forward, female, with silver markings on her neck. She whispered something to the tall woman, who stiffened. The tall woman's hand moved to the restraints. They released with a hiss. Marcus's arms dropped, and he gasped at the sudden rush of blood. "Can you stand?" He tried. His legs shook but held. The woman watched him passively. "I am High Commander Zerakai of the 7th Fleet. This is a civilian medical station. You were brought here by scavengers who found your ship drifting. They believed you were cargo." "Cargo?" Marcus's stomach turned. "These women are healers, technicians, researchers. They were attempting to determine your species when I was notified." Her gaze swept the room again, colder now. "Without authorization. Without protocol." One of the aliens spoke up, voice trembling. Zerakai responded sharply. The alien flinched and fell silent. "You will come with me," Zerakai said. "There are questions that must be answered." "Wait." Marcus's voice cracked. "My crew. The ship. Were there others?" Zerakai's expression shifted, just slightly, but enough that Marcus's hope died. "We found only you." The words hit like a fist. Sarah! Chin! Little Rodriguez, who'd just made ensign. All gone. "I'm sorry," Zerakai said, and something in her tone suggested she meant it. Before Marcus could respond, a small figure burst through the doorway, ducking under the guard's grasping hands. A child. Alien, clearly. Her skin was pale blue, her hair white as snow, but unmistakably young. She couldn't have been more than 6 in human years. She ran straight to Zerakai and grabbed her hand. "Mama, is he the one? The human from the Forbidden Sector?" Every alien in the room froze. Zerakai's face went carefully blank. The guards moved closer, hands now gripping their weapons. The child looked up at Marcus with wide, curious eyes. "Are you really from Earth? The planet with one moon and oceans everywhere. Teacher says humans are extinct, but you're right here, so, Lisa." Zerakai's voice could have cut steel. "You were instructed to remain in quarters. But I wanted to see." The child's enthusiasm was undimmed. No one's ever seen a real human before, and one of the guards reached for the child. Lisa dodged with practiced ease and ran straight toward Marcus. Everything happened at once. The guards lunged forward. Several aliens screamed. Zerakai moved with inhuman speed, crossing the distance in a blur. But Lisa was faster. She skidded to a stop inches from Marcus and looked up at him with absolute wonder. "You're real," she whispered. Then her eyes rolled back and she collapsed. Zerakai caught her daughter before she hit the ground. The room erupted in chaos, aliens shouting, guards yelling into communicators, someone hitting an alarm that shrieked through the air. Marcus stood frozen, watching as Zerakai cradled the unconscious child against her chest. For the first time, the High Commander's mask cracked. Fear, raw and terrible, crossed her face. "Give me a medical team," she snapped. "Now." One of the guards spoke urgently. Zerakai's expression darkened. She looked at Marcus, and in her eyes he saw something that made his blood run cold. "What did you do to her?" "Nothing. I didn't touch her. Humans are toxic to our species. Your breath, your skin chemistry, your very presence. Then, why did you let her near me?" "I didn't." Zerakai's voice shook with barely controlled rage. "This was deliberate. Someone wanted this to happen." She turned to her guards. "Seal the station. No one leaves. No communications out." Then she looked back at Marcus, and her expression was absolutely unreadable. "You're coming with me. If she dies, you die. If she lives—" She paused. "Then we have far bigger problems than one lost human." She strode toward the door, still carrying Lisa. The guards surrounded Marcus, weapons drawn. And as they marched him through gleaming corridors filled with staring aliens, Marcus realized with growing horror that waking up in that room had been the least dangerous moment of his day. The real nightmare was just beginning. Discovery the medical bay was vast and cold. Equipment hummed with alien purpose, crystalline structures that pulsed with light, machines that breathed vapor into the air. Lisa lay on a platform in the center, unconscious, her small chest rising and falling in shallow gasps. Zerakai stood beside her, one hand on her daughter's forehead. Her calm had returned, but Marcus could see the tension in her shoulders, the way her free hand clenched and released rhythmically. 3 medics worked around the child, speaking in rapid bursts. Their instruments flickered over Lisa's body, projecting data into the air, symbols and graphs Marcus couldn't read. He stood against the far wall, flanked by guards. They hadn't restrained him again, but their hands never left their weapons. One of the medics spoke urgently. Zerakai's expression tightened. "What?" Marcus asked. What's happening? Zerakai didn't look at him. Her cellular structure is deteriorating. Your species produces compounds that are corrosive to ours. Prolonged exposure causes systemic failure. She was near me for 5 seconds. 5 seconds is enough. The medic who spoke had green-tinged skin and eyes that glowed faintly. Humans exhale carbon dioxide and dozens of organic compounds. For children whose immune systems are undeveloped, even brief contact, then treat her. Marcus's voice cracked. You have technology that can cross star systems. You can cure this. The medics exchanged glances. There is no cure, Zerakai said quietly, because there has never been a need. Humans have been extinct for 200 years. The words hung in the air. That's impossible, Marcus said. I'm standing right here. Yes. Zerakai finally turned to face him. Which is why this situation is unprecedented. A monitor shrieked. One of the medics moved quickly, adjusting something on the platform. Lisa's breathing steadied. Marcus watched the child's face, so small and pale. Guilt twisted in his gut. Is there anything I can do? He asked. Leave, Zerakai said flatly. Your presence makes it worse. Then, why keep me here? Because if she dies, you answer for it. Because if she lives, I need to understand what you are. I'm just a survey pilot. I don't know why I'm here or how your ship was found in the Forbidden Sector, a region of space that has been quarantined for 2 centuries. Zerakai's eyes burned into him. A region where, according to all records, humanity destroyed itself in war. Marcus shook his head. That's not right. Earth is fine. We've got colonies on Mars, stations around Jupiter. What year is it? By your calendar. 2247. The medic stopped working. One of them made a sound like a choked gasp. Zerakai's face went very still. By our calendar, it is the year 2447. You have been missing for 200 years. The room tilted. Marcus grabbed the wall for support. No. I left Earth 3 months ago. 3 months. Time moves differently in some regions of space. The Forbidden Sector has gravitational anomalies that... Zerakai cut herself off. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you are here now, and your existence threatens everything. I'm not a threat. You nearly killed my daughter by breathing near her. The words hit like a slap. Marcus had no response. Another alarm sounded. The medics moved as one, surrounding Lisa. One of them shouted something that needed no translation. Hurry. Zerakai pushed past them, placing both hands on her daughter's chest. She spoke in her own language, voice low and urgent. A prayer, maybe? Or a command? Light bloomed under her hands. Not from equipment, from her. Golden radiance that sank into Lisa's skin, making her body glow from within. The monitor stabilized. The alarm stopped. Lisa's eyes fluttered open. Mama? Zerakai's composure shattered. She pulled her daughter into her arms, holding her so tightly Marcus thought she might break the child. I'm here, Zerakai whispered. I'm here. Lisa coughed, weak but alive. The human, is he okay? Despite everything, Marcus almost laughed. The kid had been dying, and she was worried about him. He's fine, Zerakai said. Don't speak. Rest. But Lisa's gaze found Marcus across the room. I'm sorry I scared you. Teacher says humans are brave and kind. I wanted to meet one. Tears pricked Marcus's eyes. It's okay, kid. I'm sorry I made you sick. Not your fault. Lisa smiled, drowsy. You didn't know. One of the medics gently took Lisa from Zerakai's arms, carrying her to a recovery chamber. Zerakai watched until her daughter was settled, then turned to Marcus. Her eyes were red but dry. Her voice was steel. "You will be quarantined. A full medical analysis will be conducted. You will answer every question put to you. And you will not, under any circumstance, come within 50 meters of my daughter again." "Understood." "Good." She nodded to the guards. "Take him to secure medical. Full hazard protocols." As they led him away, Marcus looked back once. Zerakai stood alone in the center of the bay, staring at her daughter through the chamber's transparent walls. For just a moment, she looked lost. Then, one of the medics approached her, and the mask snapped back into place. The High Commander, unshakable and absolute. But Marcus had seen the crack underneath, and he suspected that everything, his presence, his survival, his very existence, was about to tear that crack wide open. Interrogation: the quarantine cell was clean and efficient. Transparent walls on 3 sides, a single cot, basic facilities. Guards stationed outside, watching his every move. Marcus sat on the cot and tried not to panic. 200 years. Humanity extinct. He was trapped on an alien station where his mere presence was lethal. The door shimmered and opened. A figure entered, wearing a full containment suit, transparent material that covered them from head to toe. "I am Dr. Velris," a female voice said through the suit speakers. "I will be conducting your examination. Will this hurt?" "Unknown. You are the first human I have encountered." Not reassuring. Dr. Velris moved with clinical precision, scanning him with handheld devices, taking samples of hair, skin, saliva. She worked in silence, occasionally making notes on a holographic display. After 20 minutes, she stepped back. "Your biology is consistent with records of Homo sapiens. DNA structure, organ function, neural patterns, all match archived data. So I'm human." "Told you." "Yes. But you should not exist." She brought up an image, a star chart. "This is the Forbidden Sector. 237 years ago, Earth and its colonies engaged in total war. Biological weapons, nuclear strikes, orbital bombardment. When it ended, the sector was declared dead. Radiation levels unsurvivable. Atmosphere on all inhabited worlds destroyed." Marcus stared at the image. At Earth, rendered in harsh red. "Every ship that enters the sector never returns." Dr. Velris continued. "We assumed nothing could survive. Yet you claim you left Earth only months ago." "Because I did." "Then, your Earth is not the one in this timeline." The words made no sense. "What?" Dr. Velris pulled up more data. "The Forbidden Sector contains what we call a temporal rift. A tear in space-time. Objects that enter sometimes slip. Between timelines, between dimensions. We don't understand it. We only know it's dangerous. So I fell through this rift and ended up 200 years in the future? Or in a parallel timeline where 200 years passed? Or something we lack the framework to explain." She paused. "The point is, you are an anomaly. And anomalies are dangerous." The door opened again. Zerakai entered, also suited. Behind her came 2 more figures, older aliens with elaborate markings and robes that suggested rank. "This is Council Member Theron Anias and Senior Commander Jexel," Zerakai said. "They have questions." Theron Anias spoke first, her voice sharp. "How many of your kind survived?" "I don't know. I was alone on the ship when... How many humans remain in the Forbidden Sector?" "I have no idea. Billions on Earth, millions in the colonies, impossible." Jexel stepped forward. "We have monitored the sector for 2 centuries. No life signs. No transmissions. Nothing. Then your equipment is wrong." Our equipment, Jexel said coldly, detected your ship's breach the moment you crossed the boundary. If billions of humans existed, we would know. Marcus looked to Zerakai. You believe this? That everyone's dead? Her expression was unreadable. I believe the evidence, which suggests either you are lying or you are from somewhere else entirely. I'm from Earth. I can prove it. Ask me anything about human history, culture. We have archives, Theranias said. Taken before the war. We know about human history. What we don't know is why you are here now. I told you, I don't. Your ship's computers, Zerakai interrupted. What data do they contain? Marcus hesitated. Navigation charts. Survey reports. Personal logs. Why? Because if you truly are from another timeline, that data could prove it. Or disprove it. The ship was damaged in the whatever happened. I don't know if anything survived. We'll find out. Zerakai nodded to Jexel. Retrieve the ship. Salvage whatever data remains. Jexel looked uncomfortable. High Commander, sending a team into the Forbidden Sector is necessary. We need answers. At what cost? We could lose the entire team. Then I'll go myself. Silence. Zerakai, Theranias said carefully. You have responsibilities here. Your daughter is stable and protected by the best medical team on this station. Zerakai's voice allowed no argument. I am the ranking military officer. This falls under my jurisdiction. The Council will not approve. The Council will approve or explain to the fleet why they allowed a potential threat to go uninvestigated. Theranias' eyes narrowed. You overstep. I protect. There is a difference. The two stared at each other. Jexel shifted uncomfortably. Finally, Theranias inclined her head. Very well. But you will take a full security detail. And if you find evidence of more humans, living humans, you will report immediately. Understood. After the council members left, Zerakai remained. She studied Marcus through her helmet. Why do you care? Marcus asked. If humans are supposed to be extinct, why not just let me die? It would solve your problem. Would it? Or would it simply eliminate the only source of information we have about a sector that has been closed to us for 200 years? So I'm useful. Yes. At least she was honest. And if I'm not? Marcus pressed. If the ship is destroyed, if there's no data, what happens to me? Zerakai was silent for a long moment. Then, we will have to decide if your continued existence is worth the risk you pose. She turned and left before he could respond. Marcus sat alone in his cell, staring at the walls, and tried not to think about how expendable he had suddenly become. Expedition the ship was small, built for speed and stealth. Zerakai stood on the bridge, monitoring displays, while her crew prepared for departure. 12 personnel, guards, technicians, a pilot, all volunteers. Marcus stood beside her, now wearing his own containment suit. They'd given him minimal freedom, citing his knowledge of human ship systems as necessary for the mission. He suspected they also wanted him where they could watch him. Approaching the boundary, the pilot announced. Through the viewport, Marcus saw it, a shimmering distortion in space, like heat haze made solid. The Forbidden Sector. All stations full alert, Zerakai commanded. Shields to maximum. Sensors on full sweep. The ship crossed the boundary. Every alarm screamed at once. Radiation levels spiking, one technician shouted. Gravitational distortions across all axes. Temporal fluctuations compensate, Zerakai said calmly. Hold course. The ship shuddered. Through the viewport, space itself seemed to twist. Stars elongated, colors shifted wrong. Marcus's stomach lurched. There! The pilot pointed. Debris field 27 Mark III. On screen, wreckage floated in the void. Marcus recognized the hull plating, the scoring from re-entry heat. His ship. What was left of it? Life support? Negative. Hull breached in 17 locations. Whatever happened here was catastrophic. Zerakai turned to Marcus. Can you identify the damage pattern? Marcus studied the wreckage. The tears in the hull weren't clean. They looked melted, warped. Not weapons fire. More like stress fractures? As if the ship was pulled apart. Consistent with rift exposure, one of the technicians said. Gravitational shearing. Can we retrieve the computer core? Scanning now, yes. It's damaged but intact? We can. Wait. The technician's voice rose. Detecting another signature. Organic. Every guard reached for their weapon. Specify. Zerakai demanded. Human biosignature. Faint but present. It's coming from. The technician's face went pale. Hi, Commander. There's someone alive in there. Marcus's heart stopped. Where? Aft section. The signature is weak. They're dying. Get us closer. Zerakai ordered. Prepare a rescue team. Commander. One of the guards said carefully, if there is a living human on that wreck, the contamination risk is noted. Prepare the team. They suited up, full hazmat gear, sealed and filtered. Marcus insisted on going. You're not trained, Zerakai said. They're my crew. If someone survived, they'll trust me. She stared at him for 3 seconds, then nodded. Stay behind the guards. Touch nothing without authorization. The boarding craft detached, crossing the space to the wreckage in tense silence. They docked at an intact airlock, cutting through when it wouldn't open. Inside, the ship was a tomb. Walls buckled, systems dead. Emergency lighting flickered weakly. Marcus led them through corridors he'd walked 1,000 times, now twisted and wrong. This way, he said, moving toward the aft. Crew quarters are. He stopped. The door was open. Inside, a figure slumped against the wall. Saracen. Her suit was intact, but her helmet was cracked. Blood frozen on her face. Marcus made a sound that wasn't quite human. She's dead, one of the guards said gently. The biosignature must have been residual. No. The technician checked the device. The signature is still active. There's someone else. They moved deeper. Through engineering, past the shattered reactor. Into the cargo bay. And there, in a corner, curled in an emergency pod designed for exactly this situation, was Rodriguez. Alive. Barely. The medic scanned him quickly. Severe hypothermia. Radiation exposure. Multiple fractures. But his vitals are stable. Get him to the ship, Zerakai ordered. Full quarantine. And retrieve that computer core. As they worked, Marcus knelt beside Rodriguez. Through the pod's small viewport, he could see the young ensign's face, too pale, lips blue. Hang on, Marcus whispered. We've got you. Rodriguez's eyes didn't open. But his chest kept rising and falling. They transported him back with extreme care, sealing him in a medical pod the moment they were aboard. The computer core came next, heavily shielded. Course laid in, the pilot said. Ready to depart. Wait. Marcus was staring at the sensor display. What's that? A new signal had appeared. Massive. Moving toward them. Unknown vessel, the technician said, voice tight. Configuration doesn't match any known design. It's... High Commander, it's charging weapons. Evasive, Zerakai snapped. The ship banked hard. Energy bolts screamed past, close enough that the shields flared. Return fire. Negative lock. They're jamming our targeting systems. More bolts. One hit, and the ship screamed. Shields at 60%. Marcus watched the unknown vessel on screen. Its hull was dark, angular, covered in symbols he didn't recognize. But something about it. I've seen that design, he said. In our archives. That's a human warship. Everyone turned to stare at him. Impossible, Jexel said. Humans don't have, we do. We did. That's a Ares-class destroyer. Decommissioned 30 years ago. Another hit. The ship's lights flickered. Shields at 40%. We can't take much more. Zerakai's mind visibly raced. Then, she turned to Marcus. Can you communicate with them? I can try. If they're human, they should recognize. Do it. Marcus moved to the communication station. The technician yielded, looking skeptical. He accessed the old military channels, praying they hadn't changed. This is Marcus Cole, Earth Survey Service, hailing unknown vessel. We are on a rescue mission. Ceasefire. Static. Repeat, this is Marcus Cole. We have wounded aboard. Cease. A voice crackled through, distorted and cold. Marcus Cole. Service number? Marcus's hand shook. 774219 Delta. Silence. Then, confirmed. Authorization? What? Provide authorization or be destroyed. Marcus looked at Zerakai helplessly. I don't know what they want. Figure it out. Shields at 20%. Think. Authorization. Military codes. But he was civilian, he'd never. Wait. His father had been military. Admiral Cole. There was a phrase, a family code they'd used when Marcus had joined the service. He spoke it into the calm, feeling ridiculous. Fortis Fortuna Duvat. Silence stretched forever. Then, authorization accepted. Stand by. The weapons powered down. The unknown ship held position. Open a channel, Zerakai said. The screen flickered. A face appeared, human, male, scarred. His eyes were hard. You have something that belongs to us, he said. Marcus stepped forward. Who are you? Captain James Cortez, Earth Resistance Fleet. And you're coming with us. Before anyone could respond, the viewport filled with light.